Is this the perfect finance final boss, turkey teeth, fake wife, 2-bedroom, semi-detached, grey fluffy interior house car? Well, today we are going to find out by reviewing this Mercedes CLA 45 AMG. But we're also going to see if it's more than that. You know, is it a proper AMG? We're also going to see what the 0 to 60 time is, what the 30 to 70 time is, what MPG will it actually do on the motorway, how quiet is it on the motorway, you know, is it a good daily driver, and of course, how fun it is to drive. Let's get into it then. My name's Tom and you are watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. First up then, the engine. This car has a pretty famous now 2-litre inline 4-cylinder turbo with 381 horsepower and 475 newton meters of torque. That power then goes to all 4 wheels via a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox. Sounds like a good recipe then, doesn't it? But how does it compare in the real world to some other hot hatches? Let's do the 30 to 70 sprint and find out.
So how did we do then? Well, we managed a time of 4.48 seconds, which whilst fast is slower than pretty much every other hot hatch on our list. Slower than a Golf R, an Audi S3, Seat Leon Cupra, and more importantly, a Mercedes A35 AMG. A car with supposedly 80 less horsepower. Now why is that? Well, mainly because that 381 horsepower figure is only made for about 200 RPM. After that, well, it's a lot less, clearly.
Coming to the interior then, whilst it does look dated now, I do think Mercedes did a fantastic job on making this feel like a proper AMG. Obviously, the first thing you notice are these lovely, proper bucket seats. They are properly firm, hold you in well, and, by the looks of it, will wear quite well as well. Then you get a lovely leather and Alcantara wrapped steering wheel, which even has a little red marker on the centre line. Plus some proper AMG dials, which do a little sweep on startup. Lovely little touch that. And your tiny little AMG shifter. But then because this has the AMG driver's pack, we also have a race mode, which includes some adaptive dampers. Oh, and also we have a sports exhaust. And you might think, is that really worth it on a 2-litre engine? Well, yeah, it's worth it. Let's have a listen and I'll show you what I mean. Unfortunately, it's not all good news though, because not only do we have almost no rear legroom, we have literally 0 headroom if you're above 5 foot 5 feet tall. But I suppose that doesn't really matter, does it, when you've got these proper AMG bucket seats? Anyway, time to get on the road, I think. Let's go. Right off the bat then, this is a totally different experience to any other CLA, including the CLA 250. I know, a lot of you people out there like to put an AMG badge on a 250 and remap it, but it's nowhere near this thing. This is a whole different kettle of fish. There's noises, vibrations, rattles in the interior, and the damping feels more complex. It just feels like a purpose-built sports car. The steering, even though it's light, has much more positive turn-in. I can already feel it. But for me, it's just that gruff, low rumble of that engine. Never did I think a 2-litre engine could sound like this. It really is visceral. Anyway, the suspension, yes, it does feel more complex, and even in its stiffest setting, it's still alright, I'd say. I would say it's akin to something like a Ford Focus RS in its softer setting. And you'll know, if you've ever driven one of those, that the stiff setting in that is for track use only, in reality. But this, driving around town, the gearbox, even though it's a dual clutch unit, is fairly smooth. It's a bit slow to get going, but once it's in gear, it's pretty good. And the seats, even though they're very racy, are actually quite comfortable. There's not a lot to complain about so far, apart from one of those rattles. Yes, unfortunately with stiff suspension comes a slightly rattlier interior than you might have hoped for in a premium luxury hot saloon hatch thing. But immediately the drivetrain definitely feels special. Then in terms of parking this thing, this is where the small size really comes into its own, because you can drive this thing in London and yeah, it's really easy to park. On the higher spec models like this one, you get a reverse camera, which when you put it into reverse will turn on, lines telling you where you're going to go. And even though this car is 8 years old, it's actually a pretty high resolution system. And as you can see, getting into a space in one go is easy peasy, as long as you're good at parking, which apparently I'm not. Can drift literally anything, but can never get in between the lines. But yeah, then we've got a pretty cool feature on these slightly older Mercs, which are these parking sensors. So I don't know if you can see in the rear view mirror, there's basically lines on the ceiling telling you how close you are to something. And you can actually see it on the dash here as well. So if I drive forwards, you'll be able to see the dash light up. There you go. You can see it's telling us we're getting close to the curb. But yeah, back into the space. Once you're in the space, do you know what? You can always get to the first notch, which is unsurprising considering this car is pretty skinny. Anyway, coming out of junctions, it's an AMG, right? So first things first, we're going to get this thing into Sports Plus mode because it's a necessity. Then you just plant your foot, 4MATIC comes in, and you get a lovely little pop from the exhaust on the upshift. Now, one thing you did notice is traction control came in quite early there. That's because this is a front-wheel drive-based all-wheel drive system, which basically means it has to react to your input, so it's not quite as immediate or quite as spicy as you might have hoped. It does mean you get a little bit of scrabble from the front wheels and actually a bit of torque steer. But overall, I think it's quite an exciting system, and I'll show you how exciting it is later when we get to some B-roads. For now though, we are going to go into comfort mode and we're going to do some proper journalism. We're going to test the MPG of this thing, how noisy it is in the interior on the motorway with a proper decibel reader, and we're going to go through some figures on running costs. So in terms of running costs, this has a 56 litre fuel tank, which if you fill it from empty to full will cost you about £81 at £1.45 a litre. Then if you use 3/4 of a tank, which obviously you're going to do more often than using the whole tank, it's about 60 quid. In terms of MPG, this thing will do about 38 miles per gallon on the combined cycle, so we are actually going to test that today. We are going to reset our trip computer now, and we're going to do the average 14-mile commute that you would typically do in a city like London every day. But how far will that fuel get you? Well, if you do 38 mpg, you will get 468 miles to a full tank and 351 miles to 3/4 of a tank. So all in all, pretty good. Not great, not terrible. But it is a hot hatch at the end of the day, so will it really do that figure? Before we test that out, let's get the traction control off, get it in race mode, and do some hot hatch things, shall we? Okay, we're in race mode. Traction control is in its sports setting. Manual gearbox. Those upshifts are ridiculous. Let's see how this thing handles then. A couple of cracks from the exhaust on the downshift as well. And then just plant your foot. No oversteer, but plenty of punch and lots of noise, lots of farting sounds. Yeah, it sounds like a proper AMG, even though this is a 2-litre engine. Shame the new C63 couldn't sound like that with its 2-litre engine. Unfortunately, that is just due to regulations though. Then you'll notice, even in race mode, it will auto change down and change up for you, but you do actually have a manual button down here, which you can press if you want to control the gears purely by yourself, which I do like. Anyway, we will do a proper handling test later, so stay tuned for that. But first, we're going to do some proper journalism, see what kind of MPG this thing can do, and yeah, test the decibel reading inside, and just see what it was like on the motorway Is it a nice, relaxing car, or is it a bit too bumpy? Let's find out. Right then, coming onto the motorway, let's see what the response is like from this gearbox. So just in comfort mode, and I'm going to plant my foot now. Not bad. And yeah, gets up to 70 quick enough. Doesn't really feel like 381 horsepower though. And the main reason for that is that the torque curve of the engine, well, there's a lot of turbo lag, basically, so you're only really making peak power for quite a small amount of that rev band, and it's right at the top of the rev range, so you have to really rev this thing out to get max power out of it, which is not the best thing in the world, but it's also quite nice if you do like driving some old school cars, because that's what it feels like. It feels like an old school rally-esque derived car. Big turbo, bit of lag, but once it's moving you get that really lovely surge of torque that pushes you back in your seat. So it feels quick, but not super smooth quick, if you know what I mean. But then once you are on the motorway, despite a slightly persistent rattle, it goes away on a smooth road, that's good. You can get up to 70 miles an hour, it's pretty quiet in here, visibility is pretty good, and it's also pretty smooth. Suspension in its comfort setting gets rid of all the lumps and bumps pretty well, and whilst it kind of feels like a regular CLA, it still has that complexity to it. It does iron out the bumps in a more expensive feeling way, shall I say. It's just better. The only thing you notice is that the steering sometimes tramlines a bit. Now if you don't know what I mean by that, it basically means that it's hunting for dips in the road. So if it sees a dip in the road, it's going to slightly turn towards it. But that is actually quite a good thing, because it makes the steering feel very lively in your hands, which is actually what you want in a proper AMG. Anyway, let's see if this now has the AMG fuel tax and do a little MPG test. Okay, so yep, this definitely has the AMG fuel tax, even though this is a 2-litre engine, and it probably could do nearly 40 mpg on a long run at exactly 60 miles an hour. The second you put your foot down, it's going to cost you. So we've only averaged 28 miles per gallon, which is not the worst fuel economy in the world. But again, when you consider this is a 2-litre engine, it's not ideal. In fact, it's worse than an Audi RS3. Then in terms of decibel level, obviously the chassis is more connected to suspension components and stuff, so there is a bit of noise coming in. So we managed 73.7 decibels, which is not terrible. It's about the same level as a loudish conversation, or the standard American conversation, if you will. Anyway, now it's time to do some proper driving. Let's get this thing into race mode, get the traction into its sportier setting, and see how this thing handles some corners. Wow, that sounds ridiculous. Oh yeah, and manual mode. Let's go. First port of call, the brakes. Oh, yeah, okay, they work. Previous owner has literally just had the discs and pads replaced, so yeah, feel like brand new. Really nice stiff pedal. Pretty fast, zippy gearbox. Bit of understeer. But my lord, the amount of grip through the corners when you're just off throttle is mental. And the thing is, it sounds so good that you attract a lot of yobbos in Audis. In fact, there's actually one coming up right behind me now. Right, let's do a little sound check through here, shall we? That is pure filth. I mean, look at that, just foot flat, straight round the corner. And it's interesting, it feels very front wheel drive until it starts understeering, and then the car's like, oh yeah, you want to go round the corner? Oh, alright, let's send some power to the back then. But it does take its sweet time, it feels very old school. Nice sharp response from the steering though. But I mean, if I try and drive quickly, like actually if I was doing a lap time, I mean, this thing hooks onto the road like mad. It feels more dynamic than an Audi RS3, that's for sure. It just feels a bit edgier. Yeah, there's just more to do with the chassis on this thing. It's interesting, out of all the AMGs I've driven, like, this is actually a better driver's car than the old C63, you know, the W204 with a 6.2 litre V8, because that has an open diff, and it is just full-on hooligan mobile, that. But it is great fun. This is more akin to the newer C63S, the one from 2017, that has a proper LSD, and will actually go around the corner properly. But look at that front end grip, my lord. But all in all, I mean, it's a proper driver's car on some faster roads, and I'm sure it's going to be great around a B road in a bit. First things first though, I think it's time to do a 0 to 60.
So 0 to 60 without launch control is 6.11 seconds. I know, not really representative of the car when it's working properly, but unfortunately, to get this thing into launch seems to be pretty much impossible unless you've been praying to the AMG gods for years.
Okay then, this is where it should feel at home. Not doing 0 to 60s, apparently. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is where it's good. Whew. It just has this edge to it that the Audi RS3 doesn't have. That is mega. One thing we can test though is whether it'll hit 60 before the corner. Let's give it a bash. Lots of lag. Oh, of course, then it goes 0 to 60 fine. I think the traction control was just having a bit of a moment. It's old Mercs for you. But down a B road, the suspension, the steering, oh yeah, there is not much that beats this. Wow, you can get a proper move on around those corners. Almost makes me feel sick. So is this car just for the final finance boss in Essex? Well, no. Do you know what? It is fun to drive, it is exciting, and it is a proper AMG. As a driver's car, I would happily take this thing to a track and do some laps in it, because it has feel to the steering, it's got seats that hold you in properly, and a nice drivetrain. It's a very nice drivetrain. It's like if the Audi RS3 and the Ford Focus RS had a baby, and they perfectly blended pretty much all the best bits. I will say that the 2.5 litre engine in the Audi is definitely the best engine in hot hatches at this moment. But good lord, for a 2 litre motor, this thing is glorious. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed content like this. Please give us a like if you did, and why not subscribe, as not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale, which includes this lovely CLA 45. It's a big spec, and God, I sounded like a salesman then. But yeah, it is a big spec car. The only thing it's missing is a panoramic roof, but it's got everything else, which is lovely. There will be a link for this car down in the description below, and there will also be a link to our generic website as well, where you can check out all the other lovely things we have in stock. Anyway, my name has been Sol, and you have been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.